do I need to make an intro of any kind? You already know what this stream is about. I'm gonna play the funny red level and get irrationally angry with this game here, and then I'll just, you know, it'll end in nobody having fun whatsoever. It's just gonna be me complaining about the fact that I'm not making it even near Michigan's part. But let's actually, show don't tell. Instead of explaining what this stream is gonna entail, let's actually show what this stream is gonna entail. I actually haven't played this specific level in quite a while. I've been practicing the game in general, and I've been building a layout that is of immense difficulty, and of course when I'm difficulty balancing it, I'm obviously getting some experience with this game and whatnot. But as for this level in specific, I haven't done a lot of practicing. I did get a run of 25 to 74% with the start position a few days ago, but that's no biggie. I'm just kinda good at video games naturally. Well, I guess I have done some practice every here and there, but I haven't really seriously played this off stream at all. And it's pretty much, it's almost a rule of thumb for me where if I'm gonna be actually attempting to get a good percentage in this level, I will always hit the begin stream button instead of simply recording or whatever. And streaming doesn't really take that much effort. All these streamers can talk all their shit about, oh, I'm burning out streaming daily. But I would much rather stream 3 hours every day than, work a 9 to 5. Hell, I'd make the money I make from 9 to 5 from streaming 3 hours daily. Maybe like if I got weekends free. But even without getting weekends free, 3 hours every day is still better than working a 9 to 5. I mean, it should be a testament to this statement, the fact that I'm not making a single penny from doing this, yet I'm still torturing myself with this red level of pure hilarity. Okay, I'm really blowing balls. It's okay, we're warming up. We're getting better by every attempt. I'm optimistic. I will absolutely withhold my complaints for as long as humanly possible, preferably for the duration of this entire stream. But that necessarily is not going to happen. I will eventually get so invested into this funny red level that eventually I'll just, lose all self-control and just start complaining about, oh, I didn't even make it to 1% that time. This level is so frustrating. Why is Michigan sparkling? That's such a funny impression. I mean, what actually makes that kind of dreadful is the fact that it's not even an impression, or, I mean, it is an impression, but, that piece of satire there is gonna be my reality in quite a short amount of time. I'm predicting that by the 1 hour mark, I'll already have complained quite a lot. I'll have said every last swear word I know in all of my vocabulary, and just whatever you can come up with. I'm not the type of person to really break things. I used to be, actually, when I was a child. I did break a PlayStation 2. But I have since grown up and not let my gaming rage control me. I mean, how many instances are there of GD players breaking something because they got so angry? It's usually just people screaming and swearing. Okay, I'm really bad today. I'm saying today as if it makes a difference. Well, it depends on who I'm comparing myself to. If I'm comparing myself to me yesterday, I'm significantly better than that. And I mean, that's actually reality too. I did a pretty decent run of Yatagarasu just today. And I'm also, like, I surprised myself with how good I've gotten with the wave in specific. With this, I created this wave section that's harder than Chaser's part in Yatagarasu, like I just said, but not quite hard enough to be something from Sonic Wave. You know, between those two, let's say. And I actually did pretty well on that. The section as a whole, I couldn't tell you how long it lasts. Especially with this level going on, I cannot count the seconds, but I can say that it's harder than the entirety of Chaser's part in Yatagarasu. That's as much as I can tell you. And I've really surprised myself with my ability there, so that should show a steady slope of me actually getting better at this game, slowly but surely. So I am pretty confident in my ability to eventually beat this level. Not necessarily today or tomorrow or the day after or so forth, but you know, by definition, eventually. Okay, let's focus, actually, because Michigan's part is actually kind of difficult. Holy fuck. Okay, I'm not even mad about dying at Evasion's part. That's insane. I will absolutely attribute that to a fluke. There's no way in hell I'm that good at Michigan's part with the little experience I have with this game. I'm gonna wait for my heart rate to slow down just a little bit. Not necessarily all the way to 0 BPM, but you know, to a healthy rate, I would say. Let's take a sip of this unspecified liquid. That you absolutely are not able to identify based on its color. And if you claim that, you're lying. But me getting past Michigan so early on implies that I have it in me to actually PB. I mean, PBing still takes me a fluke and a half. By which I mean getting past Michigan and also getting past Crack's part, and then not dying to the orb timing right after. Or at the end, I'm not sure which actually. I think that orb timing is still part of Crack's part. But you know, 52% is quite a pathetic way to die. My nose is itchy. I'm attributing all my deaths up to this point to my nose itching. Absolutely not my fault at all. In fact, I would have beaten this level ages ago if my nose wasn't itching just at that moment. Surprised I didn't die there, at the ball part I mean. Thank you. Okay, screw you. I'm taking my thank you back. And I'm also unwalking your dog. Yeah, I will admit that that joke is not mine. I stole that directly from Simple Flips. But it's a funny phrase, unwalking somebody's dog. It's quite brilliant in its social commentary, where capitalism has taken the average teenager to a point where they will actually proceed to unwalk someone's dog as a way of protesting. And this This gesture wouldn't be necessary in a less brutal world. But that's where this ruthless system has taken us. By the way, why don't I have any viewers right now? That's what I should... I should make a highlight of this stream and just call it Delusional Man Talks to Himself while playing a level of moderate difficulty. Not quite... well, maybe if this stream took place, or I don't know, around... Hold on, it's 2022... Even as late as 4 years ago, I probably would have like 1,000 viewers right now. Well, probably not 1,000. I mean, if somebody would have gotten 52% immediately after the level got verified, they would have been like an actual top player, an actual contender for Riot's throne at the time. Which, I mean, there was a fake rivalry between Cyclic and Riot at the time, but, you know, Cyclic turned out to be the Shmooey of the Geometry Dash community. And if you are not aware of who Shmooey is, he's the top guitar hero, or he was the top guitar hero player, unrivaled by everyone. But then it turned out that he had faked pretty much all of his major accomplishments. There were some individual ones that were real, but those individual ones were not even half as significant as the majority of the ones he faked. Which was quite a bummer, because I actually looked up to the guy, so it was kind of disappointing. I'm not even particularly angry with him, per se. It's for the main reason that it didn't really affect me in any way. So I have no reason to be, you know, personally mad with him. But it's kind of a disappointment to find out that somebody who you admire so much is actually not who they claim to be. But I mean, there are still a lot of good Guitar Hero players. And the current... well, it's not really clear-cut who is the absolute best player. My opinion is that it's a guy called Frith, who currently has the best full combo, or FC, of the entire community right now. As far as I'm aware. Unless somebody who I actually haven't heard of has taken that spot. With an even better FC that I also wouldn't have heard of. But this has been a really long side tangent. What am I even talking about? I guess it's the fact that there's... I mean, I've said this about a dozen times already, but there's hardly anything to commentate over when you're playing Geometry Dash, especially when you're playing a level of this caliber. Because you're not like making progress often enough to essentially react to your runs. So the most reaction I can provide is pretty much just frustration over not getting far. Which is why probably most streamers tend to not even commentate over their streams. They just usually shut up and all you hear is that mimicking of gamer rage was absolutely horrendous and therefore funny. I mean, it would have been good if I had put any effort into it, but I'm kind of focusing on this level here, so it's your fault. I'm gonna take another sip of this unspecified liquid. I completely forgot that there was an orb there due to taking a sip of this unspecified liquid. Okay, Michigan time. That's funny. Quite the unfortunate end to this Stair Squares legacy. He rode the rocket ship through dangerous passages, but it was all for naught. Okay, come on, dude. That's quite an unfortunate passing as well. It's been 16 minutes and I'm already showing the initial signs of frustration, which is a really promising sign considering I was talking about by the 1 hour mark, and it's already taking place this early on. I also don't feel really encouraged to practice Michigan's part with the start position because I already got the 25 to 74 run where that's quite the hurdle to beat, where any runs of me getting farther than that pretty much are already, you know, might as well play from zero is what my thought process is. I might go into start position mode all regardless if Michigan's part ends up giving me enough of a hard time. But we're gonna be playing from zero for the time being. Okay, the literal final spot you can die in. It's cool, we're still early on. Shouldn't have high expectations. No need to let my gamer rage through. By this point anyway. Let's wait at least to the half an hour mark before we start yelling at the screen. Damn, you're good. Thank you, Rocket Ninja. That really provides me with the confidence boost I need. Nah, but seriously, I mean, a compliment is a compliment, but I always just start thinking in the grand scheme of things where, when compared to the rest of the community, there are people playing like, I don't know, silent clubstep. So somebody calling me good is kind of... You know what, let's stop overthinking it, thank you. I appreciate your compliment. And I truly do, despite my voice coming off slightly condescending. I was so certain that I would die at the transition there, so I just stopped clicking altogether. Okay, dude. Not at the first ball part. My 0 viewers are gonna judge me. I need to take another sip of this unspecified liquid. It's a placebo. It contains caffeine, which will make my brain believe that I'm suddenly gaining a skill boost, although that is not the case. I mean, technically that could work if I just actually trick my brain into believing it hard enough. But that's kind of stupid if you ask me. And Geometry Dash is the type of game where the harder the levels, the less control you ultimately do have, which is why you're pretty much just, you know, clicking in approximately the right spots and hoping you're gonna beat the level. Which usually turns into tens of thousands of attempts. Just throwing shit at a wall until it sticks. AKA you beat the level or reach the goal, whatever that might be. What you? You don't need philosophy. You're watching a Geometry Dash stream. Probably a rerun of a Geometry Dash stream, considering why I currently have 0 concurrent viewers. And why do I blow balls? Okay, there we go. Got past the first initial hurdle. Okay, Michigan time. Dude, and I was really trying to time that too. Come on. Why would you kill me when I'm actually trying? That's very embarrassing. I shall quit this game immediately. Okay, there we go. Redemption. Well, about what I expected anyway. I'm not fat enough to be good at this game. That's so stupid. Gosh diddly darn it. I mean, still making it past Michigan so early on is a testament to my consistency, which does ultimately motivate me into actually keeping at this level. Okay, well that's quite the funny ascent into your inevitable doom. Almost died very early on into this ballpark. Okay, Michigan time once more. Gosh diddly darn it. Let's do what I said I wouldn't do. Oh, how convenient. That UFO part is still annoying. Despite my consistency with it being much better than it used to. Okay, the rule of thumb for that ball part is you gotta click earlier than you think you do. At least that works for me. Now I don't know how other people side treat that part, but that's what's gotten me through it multiple times. I just sometimes forget this rule of thumb. Bruh. I'm not even gonna elaborate on that. Dude, not at the sheep part transition. 4 playbacks though, that's more than usual. I'll try to get one run past Crack's Bard, but if it seems like that's gonna take way too long, I'm gonna not make that my ultimate goal. And instead just move the start position to Crack's Bard and try to get past it that way. I mean, I still have yet to get my consistency at Michigan Spart on par. Or not even at Michigan Spart, I've tried at Evasion Spart quite a few times now. So getting one Michigan to crack is pretty much essential if we want to PB this stream. Okay, that transition is so unfun. Just the nuances of it. How unforgiving it is. Did I just press caps lock? How freaking much do I have to go on autopilot to do that? Okay, I know why I died there in theory, I just don't know what to do about it in practice. You can say that about literally any mistake in this game. Okay, I'm really getting frustrated of Evasion's part suddenly being hard out of nowhere. Is there something invisible here ensuring? Okay, then I will immediately die. Okay, let's see if the transition is working now. Okay, that's really fun. Why is this such a freaking... Okay, all the runtime of this stream will be used on this one start position placement. Ah, yes, getting the same notification. I don't even know if there's any platform down there. Okay, there seems to be an invisible one. Well, about as invisible as you can do in 1.9. You didn't quite have the opacity feature. But there were some clever ways you could still make stuff invisible. Dude, not in front of my 0 concurrent viewers. But okay, we have now determined that my problems are with the UFO part in specific. For whatever reason. The UFO part should be the easiest one, considering there's not quite as much room for error as with the wave or ship modes, yet still somehow UFO is giving me the most trouble. What is with my skill? Also, that was a massive frame drop. Okay, what is with me today? I can't seem to time that. It's always either too late or too early. Thank you. Okay. If we ever want a PB, we also gotta get some consistency at Crack's part. That's so cracked. Cue the laughter track and curtain. Okay, dude, that's not so unfunny. Not a single ha can be produced with this level of comedic timing. It's always the UFO. What is with the UFO? That's so hard today. I'm so inconsistent at Crack's part. It's not just the UFO that's giving me trouble right now. Or maybe my sheep skill is being transferred to the UFO right now. If that's only how this game worked. It was like a skill tree. This upgrade speeds up your jitter clicking speed. Okay, I'm just suddenly very bad at the UFO for no reason whatsoever. There's no explanation for this development. Even just then, with no clip on, I could feel mistiming that one of the final jumps there. Okay, I could have sworn I clicked it 3 times there, but guess the game had other plans. Well, no worries, it would seem. Okay, there we go. Not too far considering my UFO inconsistency. And I was right. Okay, I'm not really going for any crazy runs. At least that's what it looks like. Just beating the level bit by bit, quote unquote. I've always been very bad at Giren's ship part. I mean, it is quite a hard part. I mean, it's one of the potential candidates for the hardest part of the entire level, in my opinion. Michigan is very high up there too. And then there's obviously also Etzer, which actually I don't specifically find that hard, at least when compared to Giren's part. What probably makes Etzer so hard for all the people who have beaten this level in the past is just the nerves. You don't get here quite often. So when you do, it's very likely that you will fail. Thank you. Again with the UFO, that was literally just one click with the UFO and I managed to fail that too. And it's specifically the UFO, nothing, no other timing based game mode. Well, that timing has always been hard to me. That timing, not specifically. But now, for some reason, I guess it's the curse of the UFO. I could see that dead coming from a mile away. The second I clicked, I already knew it was too early. Okay, getting the ball timing twice in a row, though, is quite promising. I mean, it could have been just a fluke, but... Shut up, let me attribute something to my skill at least. I believe that this sip of the unspecified liquid provides me with the required power to just completely fluke and beat the level in one go. I mean, it's coming, it hasn't arrived yet. It's stuck in customs. Still waiting on that fluke. Stupid postal service. Not delivering my skills. Fun fact, just like real de-rustification, getting rid of video game rust can be accomplished by covering yourself in acid. I mean, the YouTube bots won't know if I'm actually joking or not. So just in case there is any sub 12 years of age person viewing this stream at the moment, do not do that. That will be very painful and dangerous. And you will most likely experience a horrible death doing so, assuming you do gain an access to powerful acid. Michigan time. I didn't even realize I was at Michigan's part. I'm attributing that death to talking, even though that actually didn't have any actual effects. But I'm still attributing it to it. So my fragile ego won't be hurt by that singular mistake. Moving on. That's the first time of this stream I've died to that orb. Those deaths are rare, but they certainly are a treat every time they do happen. I'm surprised I got even that close to actually hitting that timing without looking. There we go, I did it while looking this time. Fun fact, paying attention to the game actually makes it easier to play than not paying attention to the game. Keep that in mind when you're going for your next extreme demon. A little Z and X spam will provide me with the good luck I need. Fudge. I still have yet to swear, unless you count shit from when I said throwing shit at a wall. Then I have already sworn. Dude. Michigan time once more. My vision always gets blurry when I get to crack on normal mode. 7% away. I'm not gonna elongate the title by adding every single time I got close to my record in it. 52%, comma, 45%, comma, 46%, comma, 47%, comma, and so forth. That just... I'd rather wait till I actually finally beat that PB, which isn't... Well, it's closer than ever before. I just need the right attempt, finally. I mean, the more confidence I have, the more likely I am to be willing to keep going. Which in turn then makes my odds of beating this level higher. I'm surprisingly inconsistent at straightening myself out when it comes to that ship section. Your bitrate is lower than recommended. Thank you, YouTube. I will take that advice to heart. What's with my pronunciation? I cannot communicate. My face is turning redder than the level itself. Why is it always that last one? Why? My brain is like, okay, click. No, I won't. Let's wait like a millisecond. No, click. That UFO part is still annoying regardless. And it probably always will be. Let's get at a little better position. I'm barely in frame. If I straighten my back, well, I mean, I still am not centered. I mean, this centering process provides me with a required break. I had to send my friend an important message. That being a completely contextless :O, aka the surprised face emoticon. With no elaboration whatsoever. I mean, we've been friends for long enough, he already understands that he won't get clarification even if he asks, so... I mean, he's been friends with me long enough to do it himself too, so... Nobody gained or lost anything in this interaction. And I am, once again, showing how bad I am at video games. That's not even the hardest portion of Crack's part. I mean, the part after I understand dying at, but that part, come on. It's literally just straight fly for a little less than a second. It's highly likely that I will die at 52% for the third time. When I get there. I'll try my damnedest to not do so, but nothing is guaranteed. Okay, that's actually one of the few times I've died to the transition. You know, I talk a lot about the transition, but I actually haven't specifically died to it on normal mode too many times. Maybe I'm overestimating its actual difficulty. Or I've just gotten real lucky. Real many times. Okay. You talk shit, you get hit. I wonder if the word Bloodbath gets you demonetized on YouTube. I should look up that word list and maybe retitle this video to BB. Or the stream. I mean, the completion video has to have the full level name in it, but at least with streams I can get away with titling them BB, and everybody will know Well, most people will know what I'm talking about. There will be like a few confused individuals. Okay, the first wave death of the stream. My face is so red. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm guessing it's just the adrenaline and nerves of getting past Michigan's part. I mean, what is the evolutionary purpose of blushing? Or is it just a glitch? Because I could name no practical reason for warming up the face specifically. If your entire body got warm, I would understand it more or less, but other than being outside in the cold, I don't understand the practical reason of the face getting... or a portion of blood rushing to your face. Oh, Lord. With my inconsistency at the UFO, I almost knew that was bound to happen. Finally, after such a long time. 6 additional percent. I'm immediately going to practice that freaking UFO part. Because it's absolutely ridiculous how inconsistent I am at it. Despite its relatively low difficulty. Hello, Jimmy Turtleman. I just PB'd in this level by exactly 6%, which is kind of embarrassing considering how this UFO part is actually from the easier side of Bloodbath. Wait, that can happen? Shadow Legends. Yes, the sponsored stream. I mean, if a channel of my size could actually get a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship, that would just go to show how down bad their company is. Unless they're making a future investment. I think this guy's gonna get big. Let's sponsor him now. mean, there reasonably aren't too many companies taking risks of that magnitude. Also, that's a weird way to die at Etzer's part. Damn. I have no idea what your damn refers to specifically, but I agree. Screw it. Okay, but I mean, at least that 58% death pumped me up. Now I have the required amount of confidence to actually get decently far in this level. Hopefully, that is. I mean, my next goal is getting into Etcher's part on normal mode, which is certainly easier said than done. Lots and lots of caffeine. Absolutely no other attributions. Jimmy Turtleman. I mean, in reality, it's... I mean, Geometry Dash is a weird game because you only use one button to play it, yet there still are such large skill gaps between players. Like, if I were to tell somebody about Geometry Dash and describe the fact that you only use one button to play it, you'd assume that, oh, that game must be real easy to play then. Nope. But yeah, how I'm doing this, deadass just throw myself at this level until I got sorta good at it. And now I keep throwing myself at it until I hopefully eventually beat it. Which will take multiple streams. It would be the biggest fluke in the history of this game for me to beat it in this stream. But I'm hoping to at least make dent in terms of progress, which I already kind of did with my 58% death. Thank you, Jimmy Turtleman. I truly appreciate that. I don't understand why every time I thank somebody for a compliment or something of that nature, I always sound so condescending when I don't mean to. I think it's just because I immediately adopt the audiobook voice. It by Stephen King. I don't know why I picked it in specific, but I mean, that was literally the first book that just came to my mind right there and then. It's surprising how consistent I am at that fastball part, because I used to die in it a lot. Okay, that's quite the entrance. That slow ball part, with the timings and all that. Again, I didn't die at the fastball part. This is quite the anomaly. I almost died in the ball part just there. The UFO part claims another victim. I mean, that UFO part was the thing I would constantly fear in my earlier streams of this same level. It was just, oh, UFO part this, UFO part that. And I mean, it is really unforgiving. Easily the hardest portion of Michigan's part. But I'm certainly more consistent at it than I've ever been before. But returning to Jimmy's question of how I'm doing this, if anyone wants to get good at this game, it's pretty much just playing levels that are not completely out of your league, but not too easy either. So, essentially just... I mean, I can give the generic talk about pushing yourself, but that's kind of pretty much just the easiest way to get good at this game. Is upping the difficulty of the level you're going for just by a little bit with each level you beat, which is kind of hypocritical coming from me, considering my hardest demon at the moment is Ice Carbon Diablo X, and I'm immediately going for Bloodbath, which... I mean, the only reason I'm going for Bloodbath specifically is the fact that I just don't like Cataclysm. Especially the new Cataclysm by Riot and G-Boy. Because the buffs make no sense at all in that one. In my opinion, at least. I mean, I'll probably beat Cataclysm at some point, but it's not my priority right now. Okay, dude. Sure. Okay, one way to go. Another way to go. Curse UFO. I actually was talking about UFO curse because for some reason I've gotten really inconsistent at every UFO part this level has to offer. And the UFO parts of this level are mostly the easiest parts of this level. Excluding the Michigan's part one, but every other UFO part should be the easiest. Yet I still die at those more than I should. Which is weird because I'm not having trouble with any other timing-based game mode. But yes, that Michigan's UFO part is cursed. I definitely do agree with you there. It just claimed so many cube victims, and those cubes didn't deserve to die, man. Dude. And I could already tell I was about to die when I did that second click. I immediately noticed, okay, that's way too early. And then I manifested that fear into reality. Time to take another sip of this unspecified liquid that you most definitely cannot identify by its color. I was actually trying to play while I was sipping that, which is absolutely ridiculous. Rip to all the fellow cubes. We shall salute them. All the 13,000 of them. I was like, oh, I'm gonna check my attempts. 13,000. Since when I have played this level 13,000 times? That number's probably gonna go up to 100,000 by the time I'm done. I mean, honestly, it's not that surprising at the end of the day. I usually do end up getting upwards to 150 attempts in one sitting. And my streams usually consists of multiple sittings, which then eventually adds up to at least 1000 attempts per stream, which then, with all the streams I am doing, eventually add up to 13,000, so I shouldn't have been that surprised at the fact. Also, why am I dying at the very beginning? Especially so many times in a row. I just lost all my skill. It got transported to another person. Some kid who was playing this game on their mom's iPad just went, "Whoa, why am I so good? Dude, I can beat all these official levels." Okay, there we go. I seem to have got it back. Now that kid is disappointed. I just ruined a kid's day. And I feel really good about it. Okay, bitrate is lower than recommended. YouTube is talking mad shit again. Enjoy your 2 pixels on a screen. 1080p. They just pizza coupon circles. If they actually did pizza coupon circles, I would be so mad because I couldn't do that if I put all of my retirement days into that. And I mean, it's absolutely insane what the community is doing in general. I got a recommendation of somebody getting like, I don't know, 28 to 96% on silent clubstep. The unnerved silent clubstep. And I'm just looking at that like, what is my hope of ever creating a top 10 demon level? The competition is just immense. I mean, unless I pass off the verification to some other good player. Maybe if I just become a well-known creator, then I can get away with creating literally impossible levels and just asking other people to verify them. No need to actually put any work in, other than actually creating the level. But I mean, I don't have to balance the gameplay because it's gonna be verified by somebody else. Just make the gameplay as unfun as possible, and then claim to have created the new #1 demon. Cough, Orochi, cough. What happened to Orochi? Is that level even alive anymore? Has Noble Boy uploaded in general? I got the notion that he hasn't been active in a long time, but I actually don't pay a lot of attention to the community. I just hop on my computer and play this red level in front of, I don't know, 1 to 2 people, if I'm lucky. But I mean, I'm not complaining about viewers. No matter how frustrated I get, I do enjoy this at the end of the day. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it at all. In the next 10 years, people will be beating all top 10 demons in one level. Yeah, it's one of those demon mixed levels. Which actually reminds me of the people who are doing like top 10 lists, like top 10 hardest demons, or I don't know, top 10 hardest unverified levels or something along those lines. And it's always the people, they just snap the footage from someone else and then they show the entire level from start to finish. And with levels being upwards of 3 minutes long, the video ends up adding up to like more than half an hour. And then people actually watch that from start to finish. Like, if you're gonna do a top 10 list, maybe give some information about the level and don't show the entire thing. If somebody wants to see the entire level, they can just search it up on their own. But that's, I mean, everybody can tell what they're doing. They're just trying to increase watch time, and I can't blame them, honestly. If you can find money that easy, of course the sensible thing is to capitalize on it. But I am gonna make fun of it regardless. I've been live for 1 hour and I still am yet to swear, unlike I... Earlier on in this very stream I was actually describing the fact how by the 1 hour mark I will have sworn or let out every single swear word I have ever known, yet that is still yet to happen, so I am very proud of myself for not using the F word for such a long time. That maybe explains why my face is so red. I've just been holding it back so much. It's using all of my mental power. But yeah, I can definitely see demons getting longer as time goes on. I mean, right now what it seems like it's the time of beating thought to be impossible levels from 5 years ago. Or more even. Maybe even... Hold on, how long has this game been out? 8 years, I think. From like 6 years ago. 6 and 7. But once this time period is over, we're gonna probably see a rise in long demons. Like, I mean, we saw in 1.9, we saw the norm go from 2 minutes in 2.0 then to 3 minutes. And now 3 minutes is pretty much expected from a top 10 demon that's not an impossible level from 6 years ago. Things like Zodiac, it's just very difficult and precise gameplay for 3 minutes straight. So I feel like 4 minutes becoming the new norm isn't that far out of the realms of possibility. And maybe eventually we're gonna get like very hard travel levels. So 6 minutes of just very precise gameplay. And of course we're probably gonna see also the mixture of the 1 minute survival fest, which also is a lot of the top 10. Isn't Golden a short level, or am I misremembering it? Well, maybe not Golden, but Innards at least is really short. And I don't think the Sinsis, or however you pronounce his name, version has been verified to this day. I mean, there is a version of Innards out there, but that's not the insanely difficult version of the level. I'd say that the release version of Innards is harder than Cataclysm, but easier than Bloodbath. Or maybe as hard at most. I have like 40-something% in that level. But I haven't played it in a long time, so it's actually very hard to compare the two. Now I'm just rambling on. There were so many times I could have died there. Again with the UFO death. I mean, it's ultimately not surprising. That UFO part is hard after all. This is not a... Well, this is a drill, it seems. I was gonna say this is not a drill, but... No, I just got drilled. To my forehead. That joke could have been far more not safe for work, but I held myself back. But you know exactly what I would have said otherwise. If you're older than, I don't know, 10. Which you probably are not. If you're a Geometry Dash player. I thought I would die at mistiming one of the jumps, but then I was like, oh, I survived! And then I died at the transition. That transition is a heartbreak factory. It's so easy to die to it, with absolutely nothing you can do about it in the moment. It's only something you can really prepare for, and I'm not good at foreseeing the transition in particular, so it's kind of luck-based for me at the moment. Gotta do the lucky bounces. Well, those did not help whatsoever. Anyone? I was clicking so fast that it just morphed into me holding down the mouse button, which I actually did just there, and that was the reason I died at literally 0%. There we go, attempt 100, guys. We have a winner. Now a lucky viewer will have the chance to, I don't know, get drilled in the forehead. The ball part claims another victim. We shall celebrate this phenomenon with a sip of some unspecified liquid. And no, I am not willing to specify what this liquid is. Okay, I just managed to move my mouse so close to my keyboard that I actually didn't have any room to click anymore. And that's what I am attributing that death to. Not my fault, somebody else's. Okay. I mean, I did talk shit about not dying in that part, so now we're suffering the repercussions. I will not take that shit talking back though. Screw you. I still didn't die in it. Are we gonna suffer for talking even more shit? Find out in the next episode of Espelink Cheese screams at the red level whilst, I don't know, I kind of cornered myself here where I was starting a sentence that I now have no idea how to finish. Vocabulary lessons with Espelink G. First word you're gonna learn is car. Synonyms: automobile. Sentence: Father, I require an automobile. Also, that was a massive frame drop. That was like 2 frames per second at most. Father, please purchase automobile. No. Next word. The range trends of a I don't know what word should be used to describe myself in this context. Okay, dude. So close to Michigan once more. There we go, Michigan time. And again, a UFO part. Like, what's with the UFO? No, I'm not a stand-up comedian. That is not a setup. What is with the UFO game mode in the hit game Geometry Dash? MES you in the blue shirt there. What is Geometry Dash? Well, this bit just got ruined. Why do you sound like a frog? The game just froze completely. Everything just froze completely. Hold on, I gotta make sure things are working. Okay, I think things are working completely. Also, what's with the hissing sound? Is it still recording? It is. Freak. Okay, attempt 160 will be the last one of this stream. I feel like we've made some good enough progress. Sort of establishing the fact that we still indeed have it in me to beat this level. Okay, YouTube is complaining again. What is it this time, youtube.com? What do you want? Let's actually read that. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, view... And then it just cuts off. Nah, it'll fix itself. No problemos. Okay, I'm dropping hella frames in game. Yet I'm still managing to somehow hold on. But let me really preface the fact that it's lagging like crazy. So yeah, these last 10 attempts won't be really fulfilling ones. I may get to Michigan's part, but with this lag going on, I certainly won't get past it. And I'm really gonna put some weight on the may word because it's not likely. You're not the first person to say that I sound like Trust the Alex Wave. You certainly are not. I actually heard that as far as 4 years ago when I was on Discord servers, people said that I sound like Trusta, and I myself cannot hear it, but I mean, enough people have said it as where I won't deny it anymore. I guess it's also the similarity in accents. Trusta is from Sweden, I am from Finland, so our accents are slightly similar. Okay, I did say that attempt 160 would be the last one, but I am determined to push on for just a little longer. You look like a good player, thank you very much. I'm slowly pushing myself to get better at this game, but you know, the process is very slow. I mean, I went from 52 to 58%, which isn't a significant amount of progress. I mean, it is for a level of Bloodbath's magnitude, but you know, in general, I'm going to streams to see if they can beat one of my challenges. I can maybe give it a try off stream, but I don't know if I am gonna do it on stream per se. I'm probably gonna end this stream pretty soon-ish. I've been live for 1.5 hours already. But I will thank you for the compliment regardless of what happens next. I mean, I can give it a quick try, but I will probably not beat it on stream. But I will maybe drop a comment on the level. if I do beat it off stream. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. But I have a question. Do you have a good mentality? In what sense? As in, am I self-deprecating or beating myself up over not... or... I think I know what you're asking, but I will ask you to clarify. Another UFO death. Hold on, I will read your message after this attempt. And surprisingly, a UFO death. Like, how long have you tried beating? Like, have you taken any breaks, or are you doing this a lot? Because I don't, and I went from... I do not know what Thanalo... Well, I have heard of it, but... I haven't played it or don't know specifically what that level is. I have been going for Bloodbath for quite a long time, but I have also taken some breaks of... I mean, I have a playlist of my streams on my channel. I usually unlist them after I've been live, but if you can look at the dates there. I've never went for a Bloodbath off stream. I've practiced it a little bit off stream, but very rarely. So pretty much the dates of my streams are the dates of me playing Bloodbath. And I mean, there was a long break at one point. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, there's also an uploaded video of me getting 38% on this level from way back in the day, and that was back when I was much less consistent at this. I was playing for hours on end to get that 38% run. And what it took for me was such high amounts of repression, of just essentially not thinking about the fact that it's frustrating to die early on in the level. When I'm streaming, what helps me from getting too bumped down is just talking. Like, even if it distracts me from the level itself and makes me play worse or whatever, it at least helps me distract from the multiple times I will die early on, which will always happen, because this game is... No matter how good you are, this game will always be very inconsistent. Hell, even the best player in the world could die in stereo madness if he... Like, if you decided to just put 100 attempts into stereo madness, regardless of if you beat it or not, like, I can guarantee you that you are very likely to die at least on one of those 100 attempts. Yeah, that is a good way to keep your mentality. The chat is always... Yeah, the chat definitely helps. I don't always have concurrent viewers, and I can sometimes go for even 2 hours of nobody watching, which I usually just push through by talking by myself, making notes about the level art, just talking about whatever. Sometimes I talk about some community history and stuff like that. I mean, I have a bad habit of just rambling on and on. Like if somebody in real life asks me a question, there's a high chance that I will just ramble on and on and on, and they'll just go, yeah. No offense. Talking to oneself. Yeah, but I'm doing it on stream, so it's not sad. It's creating content. Yeah, I don't usually talk to myself off camera. I mean sometimes usually if I'm angry I might talk to myself, say things like, essentially rant about the thing that's making me angry to myself, because that's a way for me to cope with the anger in the moment. But not usually if I'm just feeling good. I won't go, oh, it's a beautiful day outside. Content is good. Thank you. And I mean, I'm going by the principle of you should always act as if you have viewers, even if you don't, because if somebody joins the stream, you won't be like, I do it sometimes off camera, but like it depends what I do. Yeah, that's also the case. If I'm all alone, I usually just don't care, so that's when I just may end up doing stuff like, I mean, whistling is something I do even if there are people around, but stuff like whistling, singing, and sometimes thinking out loud, so basically talking to myself. But that's usually rare. Okay, I almost got hit by those floor spikes there. Why do I get the feeling that I forgot to address one of your earlier messages somewhere? I got such a mental breakdown that I stopped playing GD and was questioning if I was good enough. Well, the thing about being good enough is that, I mean, there are the people who make crazy progress in the game where they play for 1 year and start beating, I don't know, Sonic Wave. And those are the people who, I mean, maybe they have the right temperament to just push themselves. But regardless, that's pretty much it. You just gotta not compare yourself to others, but rather yourself in the past, and that's definitely easier said than done. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, you just gotta think like this, with no further elaboration, but I mean, that's literally what it is about. Just, if I compared myself to others, I wouldn't be playing Bloodbath right now, because I would go, oh dude, I'm playing Bloodbath in 2022, that's not even in the top 150 anymore. Which people think it's I can't give up. It's the most annoying thing to have. I think a lot of GD players have the problem. I do have that to an extent, but I usually don't, with GD the frustration usually gets the best of me. I have so many unfinished levels where I have 70 something on Cataclysm, but I don't feel I have no motivation whatsoever to finish that. And Sour Cream 2 by Sir Punch and Company, I have 96 on that, with no intent of finishing it. And Bloodbath is just because I'm essentially, I have locked it in that I will have beaten Bloodbath eventually. Which is where I'm just so determined to make it a reality that I will play this on a consistent basis. Yeah, that definitely... Things like burnout and stuff like that are definitely real with this game. Which is why it's good to play some easier stuff there. Bloodbath has fun gameplay, but it definitely gets frustrating because of the difficulty spikes. Michigan's part especially is way harder than a lot of the stuff around it. So that's when you start overthinking Michigan's part. Every death before Michigan's part starts feeling worthless, and every death after that starts feeling like a waste. Oh dude, I was blessed with the opportunity. I got past Michigan, but I died at evasion. That's such a wasted attempt. And you just gotta... You gotta disassociate to the point where you just completely live in the moment, where whatever happens, you just go with the flow. Sure, if you get frustrated, express that frustration. Don't bottle it up, because that's not healthy in the long term. And most definitely rage quit if you have to. But the more you can do to distract yourself from the fact that you are not making it far into the level, the better. Just like that. That transition there is very brutal, and dying in it definitely felt annoying. But you saw no reaction from me. I mean, yeah, but sadness and anger are pretty close to each other on the scale, where one can morph into the other. It's still a negative emotion provided by frustration. But there still is a distinction between the two. The pests definitely got the problem. I actually didn't pay a lot of attention to his Kino's grind. I mean, I did subscribe to him during it, because Kino's was one of the levels I wanted to see verified, ever since I heard of it. But I didn't watch a lot of his streams live. Yeah, that's... I can see that. I personally cannot relate to that, but I can imagine that getting disappointed instead of angry. And I mean, like I said, those feelings can easily morph into one another. And you can sometimes even be sad and angry at the same time. And that's where you essentially get the person who's teary-eyed and screaming with a red face at the top of their lungs. Hell, you can be happy and sad at the same time. You can be all three at the same time. But not generally while gaming, that's... I'm talking more in general. Thank you, I will definitely take your blessing to heart. This level is an emotional roller coaster sometimes. Right now I'd say I'm feeling indifferent. I'm not feeling happy, but I'm not really feeling too frustrated either. I'm essentially just going with the flow, where if I get a new record, I'll certainly celebrate it, but I'm not expecting it specifically. I'm hoping for it, but I'm prepared for the disappointment of not getting it. Yeah, that's definitely the case. That's a good example. But in that case, usually one of the emotions tends to overpower the other. I usually am ultimately happier about a new best than sad. Kind of like where my previous record was 52% and I got 58% on this very stream. And while 58% is an easier portion of the level where, you know, I should feel frustrated about dying in it, I ultimately was happier about the new best than what I was sad about dying in that part specifically. Because it provided me with the information that I indeed am capable of getting far in this level. And I mean, that ultimately just comes down to living in the moment where I have no deadline for beating this level. I just wanna beat it in the future, or have beaten it in the future. And in order to have beaten it in the future, I'll have to try to beat it now. Things got real philosophical all of a sudden. Not that I'm complaining about it, philosophy is one of the... If you open the philosophical can of worms, I will absolutely not shut up. I'm kinda quirky like that. Michigan time. There we go. Okay, dude. My goal 4 years ago was beating Extreme at some point, but when I look back, I would have rather not going this bad. And yeah, I've been saying I can see that a lot. It's my go-to response at this point. I mean, don't let the regret consume you if you just can, which is a very blanket piece of advice at the end of the day, but it's okay to mourn though, because I see a lot of people, you know, jumping to the extreme of, oh, it's in the past, you shouldn't be thinking about that. No, it's absolutely okay to mourn bad choices, as long as you don't let the mourning disturb your present. I absolutely have no idea how to word that sentence. Playing competitive is a hell path in my opinion. I mean, yeah, it's definitely takes a toll on your mental health. Attempt 300. Since when? And I'm definitely looking for the moderation where if I don't feel like playing Bloodbath, I will not force myself to stream it. Because that's just ridiculous, especially considering I don't get paid for this. At least yet, I'm hopeful, but not right now. And I mean, even if I don't feel like going for Bloodbath, I can still practice the level in a way that doesn't take a toll on my mental health in any way, where if I just put a start position in some part I want to get better at, I practice it until I get frustrated, then I switch the part I practice and just do that to essentially get some experience, even if I'm not, you know, determined to make any significant progress. And just practicing like that granted me a 25 to 74% run the other day, which is pretty significant for my skill set anyway. Because it proves that I have the ability to get to Etzer's part on normal mode. I could have been happier if I didn't go this bad. I could have been a lot happier having more friends than now, but instead of friends, I got support of my chat. I do believe that you still got time, though. Like, if you feel like changing your path now, it's not too late. But you can also balance the two if you just figure out the way. Which also is quite the blanket statement, but... I mean, even blanket statements are good sometimes. It's good to get reminded of. Oh, it's okay, things will get better. I mean, it's good to hear that from time to time. Even if it is obvious. On a logical level. And I mean, even people who come to my chat and say that I'm a good player, it's encouraging to hear that. Even if I have trouble taking that compliment. Because on a subconscious level, I am comparing myself to the rest of the community. I do personally think that I am. Well, let me rephrase that sentence. I personally do not care how good of a player I am as long as I am better than I was yesterday. I mean, Geometry Dash friends are ultimately... Well, they can be good depending on how much they share your other interests, because I am fairly certain that this game isn't your only interest. And I mean, I certainly have trouble socializing as well, but... That's just, you know... I'm blaming that on simply interests where small talk doesn't appeal to me at all. I don't like communicating if absolutely no information or emotions are exchanged. If it's just, oh, it's a nice day out. Oh, thank you, I didn't notice. I usually don't get a lot out of it. But that's also the reason I'm very bad at it. If I feel like, oh, that person looks interesting, I want to start up a conversation with them. And then it just evolves into, okay, what's creative enough, but, you know, not something completely weird. And that just turns into overthinking. Oh, would it be weird if I just went up to them and introduced myself? No, nobody would do that in a regular situation. That doesn't seem natural. I'm working on it right now, but there definitely is a lot of work to do in that department for me. My hope is to eventually be able to just go with the flow to the point where I can be myself fully without scaring people off. Well, not necessarily scaring them off, but just boring them to death due to difference in interests. I mean, and I have found a few people who are interested in philosophy and, you know, similar games. So aka, you know, the ape-brain interest as well as the more intellectual interests. As pretentious as that sounds. And I mean, ultimately I do think that just talking to a camera will, you know, really just drill the very basics of human communication to my skull, which is also one of the reasons I am streaming more and more. But yeah, the basic instruction of go up there and start up a conversation, I will overthink that to death and beyond. The notion of go up there and start up a conversation is definitely easier if you have a topic to begin with where, oh, that guy is wearing a shirt I recognize. Hello, you are wearing a shirt I recognize. And stuff like that. In these past 28 days, I've been getting a lot of encouragement through telling me that I'm really good. Past 28 days, have you been streaming on a near daily basis, then I mean, it's definitely good. And I mean, any bit of confidence boost you can get should be taken, no matter how obvious they feel at the end of the day. And I do feel happy for you, although I didn't say it just there. Dude, I have such a nerd, Nick. And I mean, I think it's definitely better to feel good about the little things than focus on the, you know, larger scale things that are making you feel bad. Stuff like, you know, the things that are going on in the world and whatnot. It's far better to, I don't know, watch a freaking cute cats compilation than to watch news about Russia video. I'd definitely say so too about 2022. You know, ultimately, there have been some bumps and whatnot, but you know, things have ultimately, I've gotten a lot of inspiration and stuff like that. I recently started creating again, and while I haven't done any decoration in a long time, I have already built like a 30-second gameplay, which I am proud of, and I'm feeling motivated about decorating. I'm hoping that if I can get a good looking level teased on my channel, I should be placed on the radar of people. But since I don't have a level to showcase right now, I'm just playing Bloodbath and, you know, hoping that somebody notices. I mean, which they have. I also played some Spyro, but since it's been... I was in the army for a little while, so I couldn't play it. And now I just don't have any motivation to continue the game because it's been too long. I mean, it's only been like a month, but still, it's been too long. Okay, I'm moving my mouse way too close to my keyboard. Let's move it a little to the left. But even if you are a full-time streamer, it's good to have some games you play. Yeah, it's mandatory in my country. There are some alternatives that I actually ended up picking. I didn't enjoy the army too much. There were some enjoyable individual experiences, but I ultimately didn't enjoy the experience, so I quit. I mean, nice? Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Alden, I think. And no need to even elaborate on that question mark. I know exactly what you mean. On a deep level. Time to take another sip of this certified unspecified liquid. I once again tried to play while I take a sip, which, I mean, should be a given that it's not possible I don't want to be a full-time streamer because I will probably get bored and stuff, which I don't want to do again. Yeah, I can see that fear, and I definitely do have it to an extent, and I definitely don't want to just stream. I'm just streaming right now because I don't have any inspiration for the types of, or the type of videos I want to upload on my channel. But if I can nail down on one format, I will definitely start hammering. And I mean, I have a few ideas, but I just don't have any concrete ideas on how to execute those few ideas properly. So right now my best bet is to just watch other YouTubers and take inspiration, and then combine my favorites of those YouTubers into one super YouTuber that then I will take the shape of. That's good to hear. Because if you can get enjoyment out of some seemingly silly hobby, it ultimately makes you more likely to make money through it. And I mean, the thing about making money is I pretty much know the basic principles of how you are supposed to make money through content creation. It's essentially filling a void of some sort. Essentially a gap in the market, which often in the day of present day capitalism is an artificial void. We're bottling up tap water and calling it spring water. And that's pretty much it. If you can bring one element of one new element to the table, you're pretty much guaranteed to get famous upon being noticed. Like, you can pretty much every single famous YouTuber has their one reason why they got famous, and some did it through trying and some just got lucky. They didn't know what they were doing but just randomly got famous. I wasn't able to stream because of intern, but now I can. When I couldn't, I was uploading them. I hope to get views. I'm always waiting for my videos to get views, and I just wonder how many they will get, and I find that fun. I personally cannot do that because I get so little views that it's ultimately not worth it. Other than one shit post I did, which got like, I don't know, 20k, which is beyond insane, but I didn't even try to capitalize on those 20k views because I do not want this channel to become low effort meme channel. But even still, there were some people who subbed based on that video, which, I mean, if they stick around, they stick around, but they probably won't. They'll probably forget who I am and just unsub. Oh yeah, it's the guy who uploaded that Hana video. Oh yeah, unsub. 23k, did you just look up the video? Did you enjoy the pure hilarity that is, bro, you just posted cringe in Chill's voice? Or word mixed a bunch of Chill's videos. Took me multiple hours to make that one video. Despite it taking multiple hours, it absolutely doesn't deserve 23,000 views. It's not that I have some imposter syndrome, it's dead as the fact that there's no reason for that specific video to gain the amount of views it did. And I mean, it's not like crazy viral in the grand scheme of things, but still sort of insane. Then I also have another GD video with almost 3k views, which is just a replay of my old level that in hindsight isn't even that good of a level. The colors are all over the place and it just... Some parts are pretty, but it's mostly ugly. It's the level called Sunwalker, which I do feel a sense of nostalgia for the level, but I definitely am not specifically proud of it But it's also not that I, hate the level or anything. I feel like that level definitely needs to exist. It is pretty funny. Did you get a chuckle and a half out of it? Failed the try not to laugh challenge? I mean, you don't need to watch it, you won't miss much. I mean, one format I haven't seen done too much in the GD community is a edited down video of somebody creating a level from start to finish. I've seen some videos that sort of touch on that concept, but none in the vein as I'm thinking of. And if I just can find the motivation to fill that gap, it should pretty much be a free pass to views. Well, not a free pass, but anyway. Don't get a... Okay, I will drop out of school to make sure I don't get an A grade. Okay, I know what you're about to say. And I swear I won't. And if I get too close, I'll just end the playing session. I can definitely sense if I'm deteriorating. Or however you pronounce that difficult word for my ape brain. %. New Beth. Enjoy your 44 orbs. That kinda sounds like Baldy. Just a little bit. Great job! Come here to get your prize. A shiny quarter. That was certainly a fun little philosophical discussion right there. It's always a refreshment when I get a person who's never been to my stream before and who actually sticks around. Because these people ultimately, nothing is forcing them to watch this stream, which is why I actually ultimately do appreciate it. I mean, that once again is like an obvious statement, but it's still, when it comes to staying humble, it is good to remind yourself of the quote-unquote obvious things, and it's also good to get other people to remind you of the same obvious things. I feel like that's the moral of this stream. Okay, now that the person has left, now I will do the finishing touches. 3 more attempts. That doesn't count because my fingers weren't on in frame. Michigan time. Bruh. I got nothing else. That's okay. 1 more attempt. I wonder how far I will get. Dude. Well, that was certainly a fun stream. I am toying with the idea of turning this into either a highlight video, or if not, then at least uploading that 58% run in a vacuum. But as of now, goodbye. to everyone viewing this in post for whatever reason. Or maybe you're watching the highlight video. Only a fake one. I must start that over. Only a fake fan would not watch the source material. You're not a fake fan now, are ya? Goodbye. No, I should say good night. That's way more relaxing.